Alright, so got this abandoned crossing stuff here at Plum Street in Terre, Haute, Indiana. This is right here at Haley, where I go rail fanning all the time. And all the times I've been here, I never knew that the signal base for the crossing that was once here actually still remained on this side. There's the guardrail on this side. It's quite been up. This is the east side of the crossing. I'm never over here because it's just not really a reason to go over here, really. But there was a gateless crossing here. It got removed sometime in the early 2000s, I believe. This crossing was a pair of gateless 8-inch signals, and I think there is at least one bell. There is a video here when the signals were still up, but you couldn't hear the bell in it, so it might have been dead, I don't know. But one of the bases for the signals actually still remains. As you can see, it's a clamp style base. And this is really cool to me because I had no idea that there's any actual remnants besides the foundation of any of the signals here. There's a look inside. Some wiring even still in there. And you got the little rails here that are being used as guardrails for the signal. And I even discovered this little lens shard right there. Probably gonna take that just so I can say I have a piece of the crossing that was once here. It's pretty dirtied up, but still. But yeah, so here's the base for this crossing. There's also a couple other remnants I didn't know about over here, which I'll be showing in a second. There's the other side of this base. There's a look at the little guardrails. Yeah, as you can see, this is a concrete foundation. It looks like someone was trying to dig it up, possibly, which is pretty interesting. Hopefully they don't steal it. I'd actually like to see that stay there. Here we got the red sign, which in my opinion is pretty useless, even if it wasn't blocked by trees. Anyways, over here, there's also this, there used to be another track here. There's actually used to be two other tracks. I've done a video of some rails over there on that side, which is where I usually am. You can see I have my tripod up over there. But I didn't know there was any remaining tracks on this side. As you can see, they left the part that used to be in the crossing. You even have some of the wooden grade over here. And there's a look at the base of the former signal. But yeah, but over here these tracks are active. Obviously this is pretty much the busiest spot in town. Just had a train go by actually, eastbound. So, but yeah, here's some more of that crossing, and then the rails go as far as over here. This used to be just part of the main. They had it set up a lot differently before. There's some ties over there. They had it set up to where the St. Louis line, which is now this and the CE&D sub, they're merged right here now. It used to just go straight from over there, and it goes where it is now, or it did. And then the CE&D sub, which is that single track, came across at a diamond, and then it went over this way. It's been realigned a little bit, I think. And then it continued south that way, and they just paralleled each other until Locust, where it splits off today. So, but yeah, this used to be a piece of the CE&D sub. So this used to be a main line, and now it's just kind of sitting here. The rail's in pretty good shape for... Oh, speaking of CE&D, got a train up there. Sorry for the non-stability. Well, I see a train up there, so I should probably get back over in a second, but yeah, so that's those remnants on that side. You got the abandoned signal base, and then the little bit of tracks still remaining. And as you can see, there's that southbound approaching. I guess it could also be a westbound, but usually they don't go from that way. Right there, you got to relay the case for the signals here. There's the Wabash Valley Railroad Museum. And you can see the road goes all the way up to here. I've known about this piece of the road. I just never knew there were... I mean, I've noticed the tracks. I just figured they were little bits tossed to the side during, whenever they replace the rails, they usually will leave tracks off to the side. But I thought that's what that was, but actually it's just abandoned tracks from what used to be here. So yeah, that's the abandoned crossing stuff on that side. We're here at Plum Street. Oh, we got a northbound signal, but there's a train up there, so he must be going into the siding at Dewey, explaining why it's a yellow signal. So yeah, you get to see a little bit of stuff happening here while I do this tour. Anyways, here's where we're usually real fan at here, and as you can see, here's the other track I was talking about. I've done a video on this before, but it's pretty old. This also used to be part of the main line. We've got one rail there, and then the other one's right there. And even there's another crossing down there. As you can see, I've done a video on that as well, but it's pretty old. It's just the tracks remaining in the crossing, and the rest is gone. But over there, that's where they used to load up cars. That door right there, that's a sliding door for some boxcar, well, I assume boxcars to be loaded. Anyways, here's the signal foundation I was talking about for the other side. So, I knew about that. Obviously, there's not an actual signal base on it, but then the road comes back over here, as you can see. Yeah, this crossing was removed sometime in the early 2000s, just shortly after the Conrail split. But, I believe the signals here would have been installed by the L&N based on what equipment they appeared to have. Yeah, this track right here where we're sitting on right now this hasn't been used in a long time, because those would have been abandoned before this signal was even installed here. So I guess you could say that's Plum Street number 2, considering there's still a crossing up here. I guess I'll show this off again, since it's been a while. It's been about 2 or 3 years since I made a video over here, but it's always been really neat to me. I think they've paved over a bit of it, but it's still very evident that it's there. And when you're driving over it, you can feel it. Yeah, here it is. It's looking north. There's the place they loaded them up at. This is looking south. I'm sure this building was here before the track, or after the track was abandoned, because obviously, for obvious reasons. But that would have connected down there to the main line. St. Louis line and CE&D sub. Probably, I'm sure this was abandoned long before they merged the lines here, so this probably would have just connected to the St. Louis line. No remnants of any equipment here. I'm sure that this was, if anything, a pair of crossbucks. Actually, probably did have some crossbucks, considering this road used to go through, but now it doesn't. And over here we got the Railroad Museum. And I've actually, before I've dug up the tracks, it goes for quite a bit still, but obviously people come and go, so the rail is buried again. But yeah, so you can see they've paved over a little bit of this, but it's still clearly an abandoned crossing. So that's Plum Street number 1, right here. And back there is Plum Street number 2, where I showed you the clamp base and the 2 abandoned tracks. And obviously the main line, but it's not a crossing anymore. So yeah, it's just a tour of the abandoned crossing stuff here at Plum Street, both crossings in Terre, Haute, Indiana. And I actually hear a train now, so perfect time to end this off. Thanks for watching. Over and out.